Hi folks, Tim Conti here with Cloud Collaboration Consultants. So today's video is going to be around cost savings. What we're seeing in the industry is a need to cut costs across various different technologies. What we're hearing from our CIOs and CTOs, Director of IT, is that from the top down, they're being tasked with doing more with less and cutting costs. One of our larger enterprise customers had a mandate that all divisions, including IT, needed to cut costs across the board by 15%. The good news is in a lot of IT environments, there are areas for immediate cost savings. And our firm, we've been in the space in the market for 28 years in IT consulting, and we've identified 7 key trends that are happening right now that can immediately lower your cost by 15% or more. And as we go through each of these everything we're presenting today is a project that we've done for an end customer. So if we are highlighting for you some expense management services that we can do, it means that we have references and have done that for other clients in the past. So let me shrink my picture here so we can see everything. So, first and foremost, just in general, a great way to drive cost savings is to start with expense management, telecom expense management, or SaaS. I get trying to get away from calling it TEM and telecom expense management because nowadays it's so much more than that. For example, we work with a vendor called Calero. Calero is really good at SaaS. Software as a service licensing cost reduction. So what they have is a tool, and we can demo this for you, but a tool that looks at all your licenses across your enterprise, across all your locations globally, and get a sense for what the usage is in those licenses for Microsoft Office 365. Zoom would be an example. And let's say you're paying X amount of dollars for a Zoom license, but you see one of your users has never even logged into Zoom. Just kill that license right away. It's a very easy to read report, the deliverable that they give. And we have a lot of clients that are raving about Calero's solutions. Such as one example of what we can do in the SaaS management category. So if you're looking for, a quick hit cost savings, definitely want to consider expense and SaaS management. And on my YouTube channel, I do an entire presentation just on TEM and the vendors and who's doing what. You want to be somewhat careful in this space in that some of them, the vendors are getting a percentage of savings. Some of it's a flat fee. I will tell you that there's a better solution for you based on your requirements. So once we know a little bit more about you, I'll be able to advise you and guide you as to what TEM vendor makes the most sense for you. So moving right along, implement AI and automation for repetitive tasks. This is a big one. You're probably getting a little tired about hearing about AI, but there are specific use cases with AI in IT. One would be in the contact center. Now, you might not have a call center or contact center in your environment, but if you do, that would be one area. Implementing chatbots to replace physical people and butts in the seats, so to speak, from a labor perspective. That's one example. But just even outside of a call center, just chatbots in general or automation around maintenance for equipment. There's a lot of different areas here, but really most of it's involving reducing labor costs. So if that's an issue for your company, that's one way to do it as well. This one, we're seeing a lot of traction. You might have already done this. A lot of customers already have, but MPLS is expensive. Those circuits deployed globally or even domestically, those costs add up. So if you're with Lumen or AT&T or Verizon on an MPLS network, you might want to consider sdwan. That involves us finding fiber at your locations where appropriate, even cable internet, and using software then to centralize your environment as well as provide some enhanced security. So some of the big SD-WAN, I have another YouTube video just on that, but Cato, Ariaka are two of the bigger players in the space. We have case studies with both of them. One of my customers, Capco, has been an Ariaka customer for 10 plus years and really likes the visibility of the solution. Excuse me. Next, if you haven't done this, and most clients have gone to Office 365 or Microsoft Teams Voice, but if you have a PBX and it's probably sitting in an office where you don't even go to the office anymore, it makes no sense If you were a little nervous about moving to a unified communications solution or a cloud solution in the past, I can tell you that those days are over. All the vendors have upped their game, including Microsoft, but we're having a lot of success with Zoom Phone, mostly because of the cost savings that you can get from Zoom Phone. The list price for a full featured license is only $15 per user per month, and it goes down from there. But this is a way to really reduce your spend right away. We're seeing immediate cost savings by moving to a UCaaS solution, and we have a number of case studies, so it's definitely something you want to consider. Next, I covered this a little bit earlier, but if you do have a contact center or a call center, we just recently saved a Berkshire Hathaway company $500,000, $500,000 from moving from their current call center solution vendor to a new cloud solution. We used a combination of Zoom Phone for the telephony and then Nice CX1 for the contact center. I've got some videos with the ROI, and that's part of what we do as well. Is one thing to show, just cost savings. You're paying X and then you move to a new solution, you're paying Y, but really the total cost of ownership, we help clients with that. And I have an example of that, of really showing it. Your CFO will love it if you really take the time to document where the savings are, the total cost of the savings, not just a quick back of the napkin ROI. And then most importantly, we also have heard that a lot of clients are not receiving the cost reduction benefits that they thought they would. And part of that is with our adoption service. We're making sure that not only we help you evaluate the vendors in the space, we help you implement it, and then we help you adopt it with a project manager that we include as part of all of our engagements. So moving on from contact center, next, this is a big one as well. It kind of fits in with the MPLS a little bit, but if you're not familiar with an aggregator, Granite would be an example on the East Coast of a big aggregator. There's a bunch of them that are out there. But essentially what they do is one throat to choke for all of your network and transport needs, including mobility as well. So the advantage here is you just sign one contract with the aggregator and they don't have to worry about Zayo and Verizon and the Lumens of the world. We can find on a site-by-site basis, excuse me, the most cost-effective transport, so the best performance at the lowest cost. For instance, right now we have some clients that are dropping in fiber, gig fiber, for as low as $1,000 a month for a dedicated gig fiber. We have other customers that just need a simple cable internet solution for $100 a month, and we help them source that too. But the aggregator then will monitor and manage the circuits coming in. They'll monitor and manage up, down, and even do carrier resolution if you'd like them to. There's a lot that they can do here, but the advantage is if you look at maybe like a Lumen, some sites might be really competitive, but others won't. And what an aggregator does is allows us to look at each location of yours individually and find out who the best provider is. We have software tools that actually can see underneath your building what fiber is there and who the best options are. So an aggregator can really add a lot. It's much easier from a management perspective and definitely lower from a cost perspective. So if you have a big, expensive, wide area network you're paying for right now, let us quote on it and let us bid it out for you. No obligation, no charge. Our consulting services are free. And then core versus chore. I stole that from one of my bosses from many years ago. I don't even remember which boss it was, but you focus on your core services, and anything that's a chore in your environment, you might want to consider outsourcing it. There's a lot of different ways to do that, but focusing on your cybersecurity, focusing on keeping hackers at bay, keeping the lights on, but really the day-to-day stuff. There's a lot of areas for cost savings. We're seeing a lot of savings in mobility, especially. So those Verizon and AT&T corporate plans, we've got some tools and software tools that our vendors offer that allow us to find some immediate savings there. So it's just one example for you. So that's the 7 ways we covered. I'm not going to repeat them all in detail here. You can download a copy of this presentation as well. But as I mentioned, we've been in the space for 28 years, working for customers like you. We have a 95% success rate, and we include a dedicated expert project manager in every engagement. Most importantly, if you're in IT, your account manager churns every 6 months. You get a new account manager where you have to constantly explain your situation. And even though they should know a lot about you being a customer, they don't. And that's an area that we help with. Most of my clients have been with me for 10 plus years. You actually see here some of the testimonials I received from Oriental Trading. It's a Berkshire Hathaway company. The Planet Group's a very large recruiter in the western suburbs of Chicago. And then Capco is a WePro company. Capco is a great example of someone we helped with one project on replacing a Cisco call manager voice server at the time. Then that's kind of led to some other services replacing their Verizon MPLS network. We saved them a ton of money, $1 million. That's a big one. But there's a lot more testimonies and examples I have for you in addition to these. I also wanted to let you know, when you're looking at these vendors, where do you start, right? We have this very advanced research that we offer. It's called a dynamic matrices through our partner Avant. And here we can stack these vendors side by side just to get a sense of who's doing what, where, who's who in the zoo. This is a 27 key evaluation criteria for every technology out there. So if you're looking at UCaaS solution, we have all the research on all the vendors. If you're looking for a security solution, same thing. For telecom expense management, even though I'm not trying to say TEM, here are the TEM providers. But it's much more than TEM, as I mentioned, with software as a service. So in general, with the organizations that have worked with me in the past and continue to work with me, we've generated 2.5 million in savings for them across all the technologies that I shared. So there's my contact information there as well. Feel free to call me directly at the number here below. I'd love to hear about your project. At a minimum, if you just want to talk through your environment and kind of validate some of the things you're finding, our research shows that IT leaders are doing most of the research on their own in the beginning, and then potentially hiring a trusted advisor like us, either midstream or towards the middle part of the process. But what I can tell you is I worked at CDW Corporation, a $20 billion VAR. I was in the cloud group for a number of years, and we saw all different types of customers and all different types of verticals, and we sold them all different types of technologies. And I can tell you that every technology cost savings measure that I presented to you, we have a case study. We know where the bodies are buried. We know where the pitfalls are, and we can really help you make an informed decision. So that's what I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment in if you've got questions or contact us directly. You should be able to download this proposal. And also, if you click the contact us on the form, it'll reach out to my team as well. Have a great day.